You're still watching News Desk on Joy News on Multi TV. Now, the New Patriotic Party is accusing some agents of the NDC of collecting voter ID cards of members of the NPP in the New Jabe North constituency under the pretense of giving them soft loans. According to the NPP, the NDC agents have refused to return the ID cards, even though they have failed to give them the soft loans promised. Now, the issue came during Nana Akufo-Addo's tour of the Eastern region. I'm joined on the line now by Maxwell Kudako. He's our reporter following him. Hello, Maxwell.
Hello.
Yes, what more has the NPP been saying about this particular accusation?
Hello, BT.
Hello, Maxwell. Why is the NPP saying this?
With respect to the ID cards?
Exactly, with respect to the ID cards.
Well, they allege appropriately things that some people in the constituency who are believed to be sympathizers of the NDC are moving around some communities collecting ID cards of people who are sympathizers of the NPP in return of giving them soft loans. But for over a month now, the soft loans have not come, and they have also declined returning the voter ID card. So members of the NPP believe that it is employed and franchise most of their sympathizers in the constituency. However, they have lodged official complaints to the police for the police to investigate the matter. But I think just to rally said, yesterday Nana Akufo-Addo took it on to the Afram Plains North and South constituency, where he was given a rousing welcome by the people of the Afram Plains North and South constituency. He visited the Presbyterian Hospital, later addressed the people of Donkokro. He went to Tiasemani Probo and finally addressed mini or it is a resource at a key amount of. Nana Akufo-Addo has been promised the people of Afram Plains of a commitment in investing in education. He said that with the people of Ghana the Monday is going to establish a college of education in Afram Plains. He believes that if the policy to make free education or secondary school a reality, if it will really work very well, then Ghana needs that resources or the staff base to train most of our youth in the secondary school. So he said he's going to construct a college of education at Afram Plains. He will also be talking about what he says is a very disturbing trend in the Ghanaian politics. Nana Akufo-Addo accused the NDC of playing tribal cards or big tribal politics, imposed away the final tribal community. He said that tribal politics will not endure to the general good of the people of Ghana. So he asked the people to ignore the NDC and their tribalism. He said President Kufuor ruled for 8 years. Nobody among the minority tribes was asked to leave Ghana. So anybody who comes to them to ask of, or anybody who comes to them to tell them that the MPP will start any tribal group, that person to be hooted at. In the evening, there was what they call candlelight procession. They did a half-night service at the Junction Park, where senior members of the NPP addressed the judgment. And Prophet Owusu Pempa, who preached the sermon and led the prayer, said among many other things that God had ordained Nana Akufo-Addo to win this year's election. He said there are numerous prophets that goes to suggest that Akufo-Addo will win, but it's not going to be an easy path. So he called on the MPP members to fast and pray for Nana Akufo-Addo, but he is convinced that God has chosen Nana Akufo-Addo to win this year's election. Today, Akufo-Addo will be doing South constituency, Guapa North constituency. They go to the at the New Jabe North constituency in the 70s. So we are currently heading towards Osino for the first visit for today's tour.
Maxwell, let me take you back to the allegation on the voter ID cards. Beyond the NPP reporting to the police this particular matter, do they have evidence to that effect? And are you even aware of it?
Which is the line of the community can come again.
Yes, I was asking, I'm taking you back to the allegation on the NDC activists taking ID cards belonging to NPP supporters. And I'm asking, do they even have any evidence to suggest that this is what is happening beyond reporting to the police?
Oh, yes. They brought forward some victims from Tumapo who have officially lodged a complaint to the police. They say they brought three members of their party who reside in Tumapo, and then I'm told the police went to retrieve some of the ID cards from a certain woman who has business at Freedom Store in Mokoria. The woman admitted taking the card, but he said he did not take the card with the intention of disenfranchising them. So the police personally handling the case. Yes, there are people who have come to testify that their cards have been taken with the notion of getting some load, but it is forthcoming.
Thank you very much, Maxwell Kudako, flowing the NPP flank bearer in the Eastern region, Nana Adodankwa Akufo-Addo. Now, President John Mahama has been addressing the nation on a number of issues when he took his turn at the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation's Presidential Encounters 2016. The event, which took place at the Broadcasting House here in Accra, was carried live on radio and TV. Among some of the issues he responded to are his plans in ensuring a total social inclusion of persons with disability and the implementation of certain vital laws to that effect.
My issue with you, Mr. President, is we have all these wonderful laws lined or rolled out for persons with disability. When are we going to see the full implementation of these laws? For example, we have the National Council for Persons with Disability, yet it is not at the regional or district level.
Thank you very much. I just want to say that estimates are that nearly 10% of our population suffer from one disability or the other. And so it means that over 2 million of our compatriots have a disability or other. And that is why issues of disability must be taken very seriously. And under this government, we have tried within the constraints that we have for persons with disability as possible. There have been, like he said, there have been treaties that have been pending. We have sent all of them for ratification. And I wish to inform the questioner that the Marrakesh Treaty has been ratified. I personally made sure that it was ratified. It has to do with ensuring that persons who are visually impaired have enough material of public documents so that they also know what is happening in the country. I've made sure of that, and so we've ratified it. Aside from that, we have worked to try and include all our compatriots with disability in living a normal life, in being able to go to school. And that is why we've done the inclusive education policy, so that they're able to go to school normally like everybody else. There are many homes and rural communities where children with disability are hidden. And so you find that it's time to go to school and they don't appear, because they are kept at home and they believe that because they are disabled, they don't go to school. And so we're trying to get them to change that. And that's why I have moved the function of social welfare, which includes disability, to the Minister of Gender, Children and Social Protection. Because that ministry, I believe, can specialize and focus more on disability issues than employment and social welfare. Employment has to deal with industrial disputes and things, and so often issues of people with disability gets buried under all the more urgent GBC red bands and things, you know. And so getting a more caring ministry was one of the first actions I took. And so I believe that where I have positioned it, it will get more attention. Aside from that, we've increased the share of the common fund that is going to persons with disability under the DACF. In the last budget, I increased it by another 30%, so that that share of money that is going to persons with disability can be used to improve their welfare. That fund can be used for a lot of things. It can be used for scholarships for persons with disability. in some areas they're using it very well, and you find that you go to a district and persons with disability are happy with the way things are going. In other places, the money is just shared amongst them and everybody goes and spends it, and that's the end of it. And so if this fund is used in a more judicious manner, it will improve the welfare of people. We're also encouraging employees not to create a barrier to employment because a person is disabled. Disability does not mean inability. Disability, I mean, I've worked with a minister who is visually impaired. I appointed him, and there were even some prejudices, old cultural prejudices. They said some chiefs were not supposed to see a blind person or shake a blind person. And I said, well, that's the minister I have, and that is your ministry. If you can't see a blind person, then it's your problem, you know. And he's worked. He's done his work as efficiently as any person. He's in cabinet. We make sure he has everything he needs to perform his duty as a minister in cabinet, and he's performed as well as any of my other cabinet ministers. Aside from that, we're actioning the Disability Act. In most of the public buildings now, we are ensuring that we're putting in ramps and other places to make the buildings accessible. Indeed, we've come out with the codes guiding all entities that are establishing public buildings on how to ensure that their buildings are disability friendly. And so those regulations have come out, and they're going to guide how public buildings are built into the future. The difficulty has been how to adapt existing old buildings that were done without them. You need engineers and architects to take a look at every single building and see what can be introduced to make them more accessible. And so those are some of the difficulties we have. You cannot implement all the treaties overnight, and certainly not in a 4-year period. But it's not for want of trying. In the 4 years, I have a serious sensitivity towards persons with disability, because I had a younger brother who was disabled. He was affected by polio when he was a baby, and so he had to use crutches to walk. And so issues of disability are of importance to me, and I continue to pay attention to them. Recently, we introduced motorized tricycles, and we brought 10 of them for trial. We have told the Federation of Disabled that we will make available to persons who are physically challenged, so that they have more freedom of movement. They're able to go, you know, wherever they want without the restrictions of only using a wheelchair and so on and so forth. In our public transport, I've ensured that all the new bus services we're introducing have disability ramps to make them more accessible. So if you look at the new BRT buses we brought, the bus can lean more to the side and open a ramp so that a wheelchair can be brought in. We've reserved 2 seats in every bus for persons with disability. And so if you are sitting there and a blind person or somebody with disability comes in, you, the able person, has to stand up and let them sit down. And so that sensitivity is there. But like I said, we cannot introduce overnight implement overnight all the obligations that we have to, but we will continue to try to implement these so that we create a better life for our people.
And speaking of campaigns, the flag bearer of the PPP, Dr. Papa Kwesi Ndum, is in the central region, and he addressed the people of Dunkwa after a rally and said that he is convinced the PPP would win.
I believe that the PPP is winning. It is winning. This race is ours to win, and we have to work harder these 3 weeks left for the people to translate all the other things they've been saying, hearing, and so on and so forth into real votes. So imagine 3 strong political parties, December 7th, 2016. Which one will move through? If one of us doesn't move through the first round, which 2 will move on to the second round? So as some people say, either the best or with the best, that's what it's going to be for the PPP this election year. So we'll see what happens December 7th. We have a lot more work to do. We also have a lot more work to do to get our message out there.
See your news desk on Joy News on Multi TV. Stay with us. We'll be back with more.